All right, I think we are live. Are we
Are we
live,
now?
Bobby? Are we live? Hey,
Looks
we're
like it.
live on we're live on YouTube at least.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. I just
We're live.
checked X. I gotta before anything, the funniest thing just happened. There's this guy that I used to work with at Project Veritas. His most unmatchable employee that I've ever met. He actually posted the live link, and we have this chat where
Uh-huh.
all of us talk every single day. And he was our media capture guy. His name's Sal Gelly. He is the quickest, most on point guy I've ever seen with media in my life. He posted my link into the chat before I even had it. Like he posted the link to this before I even had it. I don't know. He must have just caught it on one of your channels or something, like subscribe to you. But nice work, Sal. That was great. That was great. Man,
Yeah, man.
that made me feel like I'm lackadaisical or something like that.
I'll tell you what, man. With these like streaming to all these different platforms, the way they've got, the way you can do it now, like streaming to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and you got all these different platforms to stream to, and that's just like just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's a ton of them that's out there, and trying to manage all of the streams and make sure you're live here and you're live there, and you could have people chatting here, and it's just, man, it's almost impossible to keep up with, so I don't even really try. What is your main if you do live, like what's your main platform that you focus on the most?
Well, that's kind of why I was the other day I was saying to you, like when we do live, which we should have done this one from my channel because we talked about that last time. But
Yeah,
literally never once in my life on any platform ever gone live ever. I never have done it.
right.
I've done
Yeah.
lives with other people, but I that's why I asked you. I'm like, buddy, you got to help me out. I have no idea how this goes. So you could be doing
Yeah.
Morse code back there for all I know. I don't know what's going on. So you're
Well,
gonna have
I'm
to teach
telling
me
you,
some of this.
like streaming, man, is it's it's it can get difficult, let's put it that way. Like sometimes the technology just doesn't work, and it makes you look like a fool, or like you're in the middle of streaming and then all of a sudden the internet drops out, and but the hard part for me is like the very first like show that I did, right? I was interviewing William Ramsey. He's an author out of California, and he was using his cell phone to like do the interview with, and it was cutting out a lot. So, like, there was such a delay in the conversation. It was so hard to keep a steady conversation because, but I was saying one thing, and by the time his would catch up, it's already a different conversation. And man, I tell you what, it was a mess. It was so hard, but it ended up being kind of cool. So, but the reason we are here tonight is not to talk business, right? We don't want to talk business tonight. It's
Not to me.
Sunday. It's been a long week and things are kind of crazy. I would like to just laugh some. How about you?
That sounds good. I need that. It's been a lot. Everything's work, work, work. Every time you and I talk too, it's just work, 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 work. Yeah, we need to laugh.
I'm telling you, man, I think it's especially in like, our line of work. There's the people, I don't know about you. I don't know if you're getting dogged on too much yet, but I get dogged on a lot from people. And, I've gotten used to it by now. Most of the time I get these nasty messages and I just kind of let it, just move along. But man, I tell you, I have seen some stuff, out filming. Anytime that you're in homeless camps, you're gonna see some stuff. Like there's some pretty shocking things you'll run across. But what I wanted to ask you about, and you'll have to excuse me about this, but I know that I'm not the only one that's interested in this because I myself was a huge fan of your work at your previous employer. You did a hell of a job, man. You guys were you were putting out like world changing stories. Like your journalism was, it was I mean, literally, I mean, it was changing the way countries operated and things. It was changing the way companies operated. So that's a huge deal. And I know that a lot of the people that follow me, uh, they want to hear some crazy Bobby Harr stories from when he was undercover, and some of the crazy stuff that you got to do, and some of the crazy incidents that happened. Do you have any of those stories you might be able to tell us?
Yeah, man. I got oh man, they range from what the reaction is. Some of them are scary. Some of them are downright scary,
I can
and nothing
imagine.
funny about them. But we'll start a little more lighthearted. There's one that I told a colleague of mine, a guy I used to work with, James Alino. I told him that I was doing this, posted in our chat, and he reminded me of this. So when I started with Project Veritas, right whenever like it was like I started and a month later COVID, boom. I mean, I went
Yeah,
from like, oh, this new, you know what I mean? This new job I have, it's so cool. I'm on top of the world. And then all of a sudden the world shuts down. So I was pissed, right? And I'll never forget, everybody kind of the world stopped, so everything really stopped, and we were operating out of Westchester County, New York, about an hour from New York City. And New York City's where everything happens. We got so many stories there over the
right.
years, but so it became like, I'll never forget, James O'Keefe messaged the group and was like, I need a couple brave souls to volunteer to, like, to go down to the city and, go undercover and try and get a story on COVID and stuff like that and whatever. And this is when, I mean, this is before masks were even recommended, to give you context there. I
Right,
mean,
right,
this is when literally nothing was in place, nothing was, no, it's just everything shut down because nobody knew anything. So I was like, screw this, man. Most people wouldn't touch anything with it, but I was like, screw this, man. I just got this job. I just got my first story. It actually got delayed because of COVID, but at any rate, I was like, I gotta do this. So I'm going around and I'm going like just crazy stupid shit, like going into going into just like makeshift COVID clinics that are popping up, and where they're
that's
testing and
crazy.
stuff like that, and undercover recording and everything. We don't know anything. All I know is I got a cool job and I want to keep doing it. I didn't care. But what was real funny is we were about a month into that, we had this idea. We were
Yeah,
like, let's go talk to
there we are.
nurses, right? We good?
Yeah, we're good. I think that was actually
Cool.
mine that dropped out there that time.
We're good.
Yeah, it
So we
was
were
mine.
like,
Okay,
wait,
we're
let's go
back
talk to
on now.
some let's go talk to some nurses, right? They were flying in nurses from all over the country to work for like double, triple the pay in New York City. And we were like, how do we, the number one thing is, how do I get access? If you can get access to the subjects you're looking to, you've got 80% of the job completed already, right? Access
Right,
is
right.
everything. So we're like, how do we get access? And I remember it's cold as hell, and we're walking through Manhattan, and we're like just looking for anybody in scrubs or lab coats or anything like that. And we're like, well, how do we get their attention? So we just walked around. Nurses tend to be female. We just, me, James Lulino, and another guy I used to work with, we're walking around Manhattan and we're just carrying 6 packs, 12 packs of Trulies, and what are they called? What's the other one? The Trulies, the White Claws. And we're just
Yeah,
looking for
yeah.
female nurses. We just look like a couple frat boys walking around looking for these female nurses. And we're like, and I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, we have booze, but like we're just walking on the sidewalk. How are we gonna get a conversation? Wouldn't you know, we run into these two gals from like North Carolina or Texas or something like that, and they're just sitting outside smoking, and we just walk up, three guys. If this ain't the creepiest thing, it's dark out. We got White Claws, we got Trulies, we got beer, and we just start talking and smoking cigarettes with them. We were sitting there for 4 hours, just recording everything they're saying, and drinking on the street and everything like that. Like we're just on the sidewalk drinking with them and whatnot. And we ended up not publishing it, but we got like quite a bit of information out of them. We sat out there in the cold for like 4 hours drinking with these girls, like, and just talking to
Right.
them. I mean, it was pretty nuts, and they just didn't question it. They just sat out there with us and just smoked and had a couple drinks and whatnot. But man, that was that was fun. That was a good
Yeah.
time, man. That was
And so that was back during, like, when COVID was, what, in its infancy, I guess you could say, like, back when nobody, like, when everybody was freaked out about COVID, like, nobody knew,
brand new.
the only thing yeah, the only thing everybody knew was that, "Oh, oh my god, this new illness, it's spreading, it's gonna kill everybody," and, everybody's hair was on fire at that point, so I bet that was a little bit unnerving, for sure. Let me
Oh
ask you,
yeah, I remember I was in a
um
t-shirt and shit.
yeah. So
Just freezing
so
cold,
when
no mask on.
when you guys were working, I mean, obviously, you're working undercover, so you gotta blend in, you're wearing just, street clothes and things, so, did you have to, like, change your style of clothing depending on, like, what, I guess, story you were writing or what story you were on? Did you have to kinda, like, what I'm imagining in my mind is, like, Bobby and biker clothes, like, trying to get in a biker bar, you know what I mean? That's kinda what I'm thinking is, like, drastically changing your look, just to kinda fit into to the areas that you're trying to, get into. Did that happen a lot where you had to really change kinda like who you were?
Oh, dude, all the time. I mean, it
I
was a
can
constant thing. Some a lot more drastic than others. Like sometimes it was easy
yeah,
as like if you're going to a Bernie Sanders rally, you would just wear like a Democratic Socialist of America shirt or something like that, and you could be
yeah,
yourself. Other than that, and you just kind of talk the talk and walk the walk that all these other people do, and that they think that you're one of them, and blah blah blah. But man, that actually. I was gonna tell you the story. My outfit worked too good one time. It worked too damn good. I went undercover at the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. I'm not joking. I went to
yeah.
Kenosha. I went to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial,
Oh, no,
and
yeah.
dude, I dressed up super Antifa looking. I was all blacked out. I had, black mask on, bandana, all this and that. Like I way overdid it. And we go and we're walking around with just all these groups, man, all these different, little leftist groups and Black Lives Matter and all this shit. And I I can't make this up. I still can't. I'm glad you said that. I that's exactly the story I wanted to tell you. But I was so and I'm gonna send you a picture of this, but I was dressed so well for this that me and this other guy that I worked with that was there with me, we both were. And we're all decked out in black. We go into a bar after, and I go in there and I definitely had a couple drinks in me at this point. And there's this guy in there and he's just sitting next to me and he's just
Yeah, yeah.
mugging me. I mean, absolutely mugging me, right? And we're just there working undercover trying to see if there's any violence gonna happen or anything like that. And this guy's sitting at the bar and he just starts talking shit to me, running his mouth. I know why you're here, you motherfucker, this and that, like just running his mouth. I mean, getting hostile with me. And I'm so still like there's people around us too that could have like I'm still trying to like stay somewhat in character. And so I'm arguing back with this guy, and you're here to cause trouble with Rittenhouse, this and that. I think we lost Jamie. Yep, I'm talking to myself. I'm gonna finish that one once Jamie comes back. I don't even know if I'm still live. I really couldn't tell you. I'm gonna assume I am though. Are we? Yeah, I'm still live. All right, I'm just gonna keep going. Um, but So this guy really wanted to fight me. This guy thought I was Antifa, that I was there to burn down the city. If Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted, and first of all, that didn't happen. He was acquitted, and that didn't happen. No, nobody burned anything down. But this guy and I had to be separated, literally separated by a member of like some guy that comes to the bar, some bar frequent all the time. And I'm halfway in the bag myself. I'm drinking and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, my buddy has to come over and pull me back. and you got the one guy that's a regular at the bar pulling him back and everything. So we almost got a full on confrontation over the fact that I'm dressed like Antifa. Meanwhile, I'm working for Project Veritas. I'm undercover. I mean, it was an absolute doozy there. But I'm glad I didn't actually get in a fight. That wouldn't have been ideal. But I think this guy was a little bummed out that we didn't get in a fight. I'm gonna see if we can get Jamie here because right now I'm just hijacking his live stream. I don't know what happened. We're gonna get him back here. All right. Okay. Jamie's working on it. He's coming back in, guys. He's just trying. He lost communication here, so he's doing his best to come on back in. At least I. There we go. There we go.
Okay, well, let's see. I think I got audio. Hang on, I think
We
I
got
got the
audio.
audio back. Yeah,
Well,
I'm telling you,
good
man, these live streams. Hold on, they stupid live streams.
technology, right?
I got the audio back. I don't know what happened. Hang on here. Let's see here.
StreamYard hasn't been very nice to you lately.
Not lately, man. And OBS was really good. And you know what? I always used OBS before, and so I know the software very, very well. And William Ramsey talked me into using StreamYard because it was so easy to invite people, like to come and join your stream. And then yeah, here we go. Here I'm, you know, always having issues with it. Let's see here if let's see extra camera. I don't know what the heck is happening here. I'm sorry. Guys, I'm sorry. Anybody that's watching, I am so sorry. This is just ridiculous. Let me see if I can look at
And while we're at it, guys, make sure you go download StreamYard, the number one streaming platform.
Yeah, I'm telling
In
you.
all,
At least you can get audio. I mean, that's a good thing.
yeah.
Let's
I
see
mean,
here.
shit, we're like on a.
I think I know here. Hang on.
We
Camera,
could have FaceTime this. We got like probably 8 people that are still hanging in or so. Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, Twitter, we got 8 people.
camera. Is there anybody even watching? I can even see that now.
I don't know. Probably I did maybe like one guy that I know or something like that. There's,
Okay.
I don't really tend to check because then that'll just like occupy me.
Oh yeah, no, I don't look at it either. I'll look later.
But you stream
Let's
it
see.
across multiple things too.
Let me see. Did that work?
There
Ah,
we
hey, there
go.
we go. We're back. We're
All
back.
right.
All right, is that the right
Technology.
camera? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, perfect. Look
Gotta
at that.
love it.
I just hit a random button and it turned it on. So that button wasn't even labeled like turn camera on or anything.
I'd mark that button if I was you.
But hey, look, it's my green screen though.
Oh, there you
It
go.
doesn't have my
You got the
background.
new studio built
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, it's got my green screen back there. Yeah, that's what I've been working on, like,
Hell
all
yeah, man.
weekend was, we've got that new show that we've got starting, on it was actually gonna start, last night, but, of course, the studio wasn't ready, and right now, this place smells like paint so bad right now that, I'm probably gonna be high before this is over.
I was gonna say you're catching a buzz.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I've been painting all week and I got paint all over my hands. And so yeah, I mean, we're working really hard to get this looking right and looking good. And like having a new show, it's hard, man. It's hard to get to break into the business. And you know uh, I think when you have like a good production value, if it's something that is, easy for people to watch, I think it's a little bit easier. But at the same time, I was telling the guys that's working on that I hired to work on the show with me, I'm like, look, in the beginning when we start, don't be expecting, much. It's good. It's going to take a bit to work up to have an audience and such. So
Oh yeah.
hopefully people don't get too, and like I need to be taking my own advice because whenever I first started doing this stuff with Dash, man, I tell you what, was going out and like hiking miles to get these, these videos, and it was like nobody was watching them at all. And then, but all of a sudden, man, people started watching. It started slowly, but it built from there. And then, I do pretty good on views now, and and I put them just not only on Twitter, but, I put them everywhere. Rumble, Facebook, which, obviously got me in trouble. TikTok, oh my god, I am on my last strike at TikTok right now.
I
I had a
bet you
video
are. I bet you are.
I had a video that got 122,000 views, and it did. I got those I got those views in about 2 days, and, on that 3rd day, they're like, "Yep, sorry. It's against the community guidelines, so we're taking that away from you."
Oh
But,
yeah, that app is. I mean, I have it too for Eyes on PGH, and like I don't know. I mean, it's supplemental for a few things, but and I've made a connection or two here and there off of it
yeah,
and whatnot. But I mean, I don't focus my attention on it. Instagram and Twitter and Facebook is what's really been, YouTube's climb, it's starting to climb a little bit more for me, but
right.
like you, it goes back to what you said, man. Like, yeah, I've had, early on success with what I'm doing now, but I mean, it's a grind, dude. There's nothing worse than whenever you're like, yeah, I got some good content. I got some good stuff I'm putting out. And
Yeah,
then you post it and nobody watches it. It's like, but you have to just keep going. Like my little brother makes a living off of YouTube. He
yeah.
makes him and his two buddies do like reaction videos and stuff, and they
Yeah,
make a
that's huge
killing,
on
man.
YouTube, buddy.
They
That's
make
huge
a
on YouTube.
killing, man. He's been doing it for years though, like
Yeah.
years and years and years. And so he said the same thing. He's like, you just have to make stupid amounts of content. And I mean, there's really
Yep.
no replacement
Gotta make
for
a lot.
good content.
And, the other thing that I really noticed is, I will go out, like, if I find a camp or an area that I wanna film that I think, like, it's visually appealing, or actually in my case, it's visually shocking to the viewer, and
Yep.
I think it's gonna do really well. Like, when I go back and I watch the video that night, I'm like, "Whoa, man, this video's it's gonna," the video's gonna do great. And then I put it up and it's just like, nah, it doesn't do that well. So, like, for example, I had a video go viral just a few months ago, and it was from an area down here in Austin called the Violet Crown Trail, and that's supposedly like Austin's crown jewel of, like green belts, their parks. And anyway, we filmed it. It was a huge homeless camp, and it was so bad. Man, I've spent so much money, trying to make like good 15-minute long videos that's, supposedly good for the algorithm, and, you're trying to do things the right way. I went in there and took a freaking 15-second video with my cell phone and made more money and got more views with that stupid cell phone 15-second cell phone video than I've ever made with any other video since I've been doing this. I swear to God, it pissed me off so bad. Like, I buy
Oh
all these
yeah.
cameras, I buy all this audio equipment, and then here I go and take a cell phone video real quick, and it's like that's the one that does it. I
Dude, that's what it is. Like short videos and reels and stuff like that. I mean, that's bread and butter now, and it's weird because if you look at every viral video you see that just pops up on your timeline or whatever, like, that's kind of what gives you a gauge of what kind of content goes viral. Like you can look at a viral video and really see why, even if it's not for you, you could see why. Some of it's stupid as shit, but
Right, right.
you could tell why it goes viral. You can tell why people like it, and people don't like. Now YouTube's a little different, I think, um, but people don't really like long form videos. Like even at Veritas, well, one of the things I learned when I was there, our social media guy, Eric Spracklin, he
Uh-huh.
always would preach about how we needed. I don't know why this is the number, but it makes sense. Um, he would say like, we do a story that's like 8, 9, 10 minutes on YouTube, and he'd be like, I need a 220 for Twitter, right? 2 minutes
Right.
and 20 seconds. I don't know why that's like the magic number for length of video, but you're not really getting people to tune in for all that much longer than that, if
Right,
that,
right.
on Twitter. But it was always like it was always a 2:20, 2 minutes 20 seconds for some reason, magic number, and that has to be calculated based on like all kinds of analytics and shit over
Well,
millions and millions of videos.
you were saying that, like, that Facebook, you do better on Facebook than you do on Twitter, isn't that weren't you were saying that just a little bit ago, right?
Not better. I definitely do better on Twitter, but the page is growing at a more rapid rate on Facebook
Right.
right now. At least for right now. Like I'm getting some day. I got like 100 new followers in a day or something
Yeah.
like that on Facebook, just like yesterday.
Well,
Um,
I've always done better on Twitter than Facebook. For some reason, I just, I never could, like, for whatever reason, like my content, I never could get it to really take off on Facebook. Now, there is a group out there, uh, that, uh, well, I got to be careful what you and I talk about the Lady Bird Lake stuff, and I think why we got to be
yeah,
careful what we're talking about. So
yeah,
I got to be careful what I mention. But there's a group surrounding that whole, the Lady Bird Lake, and I did get a lot of followers from that group because I started kind of posting in it. But,
right.
actually, Carissa, I don't know if Carissa's still here, but do you see Carissa? She left a comment. Is that the Carissa that runs that group? Hang on. Let me see if that's the same Carissa. Uh, that may not be the same
Yeah,
Carissa.
she just commented on YouTube.
Yeah.
Carissa Mayo.
Male. So, Carissa is, I don't think that's the same. I think the Carissa that runs the Lady Bird Lake group, her name is Carissa something else. But anyway, Carissa, she's a friend of mine, and she runs that Lady Bird Lake group. And, boy, I'll tell you what, she does. I, I don't know how she keeps up with it because, Facebook is such a stickler about their rules about, content, like what people are saying. And they make it to where, like, that page is almost 100,000 users big. Facebook puts it back on those admins. If somebody out of those 100,000 people goes in and says something that's against the rules, it's up to the admins to take care of it, or they could lose the whole damn page. So I feel bad for 'em, man. I honestly don't know how they keep up with a page that big. Can you imagine trying to moderate 100 people?
Yeah, I mean, a
I can't
Facebook
imagine
page
it.
is your full-time job at that point. I'm totally not about that. That's not that's why I like just moderating my own content, whatever, because I kind of have an idea of what's allowed and what's not, man. You know what's funny is that out of all the things that really took off my page in the last few days, it was that damn picture of the two photos of the one I heart poop smeared in
Yeah.
shit on the public bathroom. I mean, out of all the work that I did, it's kind of like you saying the 15-second video um is ends up being your your number one video and you make all this money and whatever. Well, man, I'm gonna check it now, but my number one tweet is a picture of shit smeared on the wall in in a public bathroom. Like my number one tweet by
That
a long shot. It's
that
what
is
are we
so
at here?
crazy, man.
I'm gonna
That
tell you, dude. It's like not even close. It's not even close to any other 749,000 impressions. I mean, it's stupid.
that
People love the most jacked up content, man. They really do.
that
People want to see the grossest, twisted, weirdest stuff. Like, I mean, I get it though, because to be fair with that picture, if you see that on your timeline,
yeah.
you can't not stop and go, what the hell did I just look at? Like
Oh, man.
you have, and that's what I did whenever I didn't take that. People ask me, they're like, how did you take that and not like, were you grossed out? I'm like, I didn't go anywhere near that place. That was sent to me by a source. Somebody that follows my page, they sent it to me and I was like, all right, I know what I'm posting. Like that was one where I kind of had an idea. I was like, this is gonna get traction. Like you can't not look at this. you know?
I'm just now looking at it really good, like, on a computer screen. I was looking at it on my phone, but now I got it pulled up on my laptop over here. That is I mean, I love poop. And I'm trying to figure out what the rest of it says. I love
Yeah,
poop, and then
they tried to brown out some of the content that they were
brown
writing.
out.
That's
Brown out.
yeah, they tried to erase it. Didn't
That's
work
so
so
funny.
well.
You gotta brown it out. Man,
I mean, out of all the things, man, I'm here editing, learning how to do that. I suck at it. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm keep steady hands and filming and doing this and that, almost getting bit by a damn dog. And out of all the things, a picture of shit on the wall
oh,
is
dude, dogs. Oh my god, let me tell that story real quick. Man,
oh
I tell
yeah,
you
yeah.
what. So this was, some time ago, well, it wasn't too long ago. So I use this app, called Landglide, Landglide, and it is just an app for your phone. There's a website for it too, but, I think for your phone, it's like $10 a month, and with that app, you can see who owns any piece of property. Like, they go out through, it's public information, and so you can see who owns any piece of property. And that helps me when I'm making these videos because if there's, massive homeless camps, I can find out who lives on, who owns it, and then I can contact them for comment and such. Well,
Right,
anyway, I found this big plot of land, and in Austin, like in downtown Austin in that area, it's kind of hard to find a big, like a nice big open plot of land where there's a lot of wooded areas. But this was owned by the University of Texas. There was a ton of, homeless in there, and I was like, "Okay, well, it's University of Texas, we will be, we're gonna be trespassing, but, who cares? So are those other people, so we're gonna do it too."
right.
Dude, we got in there and started walking through, and I had a guy with me that day, his name was Jared Klickstein. He's on Twitter. If you work in this space long enough, you'll run across him. He used to live on Skid Row out in California, and now
Ooh.
he's writing a book, and he's doing some other stuff. So he's doing really good for himself now. But anyway, he was with us that day, and I put this video up on YouTube that we couldn't find anybody. It's like the homeless camps are supposed to be in there, all we see is just wooded area. They're like, we're seeing nothing. I'm like, okay, well, our source lied to us. There wasn't nothing here. And then all of a sudden, like right off in the distance, you see like a blue tarp. And it got a little closer and a little closer and a little closer. And dude, three of the most massive dogs I've ever seen ran out of that tent. And
Oh
they,
no.
dude, I am going to tell you right now, you know, I have been scared in my life, but oh shoot, but I have never in my life, never been that scared before when those dogs are coming after us. That was the most scared I've ever been in my entire life. Like, it's one of those, like, you're so scared that it's like you don't know what to do. It's like your brain's telling you to do something and your feet is doing something else and your heart's jumping out of your chest and like goosebumps over your whole body. And, I mean, it was absolutely terrifying. And I mean, they didn't really like tear us up, biting us. What they were doing was biting at the back of our heels. So they were getting our shoes.
Ugh.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I will for as long as I live, I will remember that where those dogs came out. And here was the funny part about it. The dude that lived, in that tent, the dude that owned those dogs, as we were walking out of there, he was coming in pushing his bike. And I said, I was like, "Hey, man, you live back there?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I live back there." I was like, "Well, your dogs just basically chewed our asses off." And he was like, "It don't matter. You're not supposed to be here anyway." And I'm like, "Bro, you're living on private property. This belongs to the university." Well, anyway, long story short, I turned it into the university. University of Texas has a police department. They didn't care. They're still there to this day. Even the dogs are still there.
Dude, yeah, I thought I was gonna get torn up by this German Shepherd in this video I'm posting tomorrow. I mean, I I posted it on like Twitter and stuff like that across social media. I posted like a little screenshot of it, and man, this shepherd was luckily tied up, but that thing would have chewed my ass up.
Yeah.
And you can see in the video. I admit it. I was scared at first. I jumped. I mean, it was wild. I want to tell you about being scared. All right, so this is where the stories being undercover aren't so funny, but this is a scared time. I'm gonna tell you a time where I was shook up pretty good. So
Yeah.
I actually I actually watched someone get murdered one time whenever
What?
I was yeah, I wasn't even like undercover. Like I was going to do undercover things, but I'll send you the article. This is Sacramento, right? I'd never been to
Yeah.
Sacramento, and I spent a little time on the West Coast before. But dude, I I play poker, right? And that's like my favorite hobby. And
Yeah.
I fly into Sacramento and I had to go to it's called Chico, California. And
Right.
it's a little bit north, like 2 hours north of Sacramento, something like that. And man, I had no idea what Sacramento was like, but it's a shithole. It's an
Yeah.
absolute shithole. You want to talk about homeless and stuff. So at any rate, I fly in and I call my boss and I'm like, "Hey man, like you know, what do you need me to do tonight? What do I got going on tonight?" And he's like, "Now just get to your hotel, get started in the morning like on this assignment I had." I'm like, "All right." So I'm like 2 hours away. So I'm like, "Well, it's early afternoon, West Coast time, like I got some time here." I said, "I'm gonna go play some cards." And I had some free time there. So I decided I'm gonna go play some cards. And I drive and I'm like, this is convenient. A quarter mile away, there's a card room, right? And
Right.
it says, well, what was it called? Uh, I'll have to find it. I can't remember what the casino was named. But I'll let you know when I send the article. So I pull up to this casino, and let's just say based on the clientele that I see out there and the way people are acting and stuff, I was like, I am not going in this casino, man. I'm not breaking my wallet open around any of these people. Like it's just not happening. Capital Casino, Sacramento. That's what it's called. Capital with an O. And I pull up. I'm like, I'm not playing cards here, man. It was a bad, bad area, and I pull into the parking lot. I said, I'm just going to pull through this parking lot and I'm going to just leave. I'm not going to park. I'm not going to do anything like that. And as I'm pulling through, there's one of them little speed bumps. And I go up and I'm going across the speed bump. And this masked person cuts out in front of my car, runs right up to this woman outside smoking a cigarette, right? And just blows her head off, like shoots her right square in the face, man. Like point blank range, shoots her in the face and takes off. I was actually the 911 call that the Sacramento Bee reported on whenever this happened. Like shot her right in the face. This dude jumps on top of her. My window was down and stuff. She got shot. She got shot. Everybody's running around like crazy, man. Like when there's a bunch of people around and stuff, and there's a shit like it's sheer panic. Like everybody
Right.
doesn't know what to do. Everybody kind of just scatters like fleas, right? And man, it was nuts. It was like this woman just took a bullet right to the face, maybe 10 feet from me,
Right.
falls to the ground, and there's blood everywhere, and I have to get out of the way. I have to drive past her body, and so I'd get past, and dude, I just floor it, and I do a square around this building, and as I'm doing a square to get out of there, people run around screaming. I'm calling 911, and the Sacramento police happen to be like right around the corner, and
Right.
they pulled right in it was like the quickest police response I've ever seen, and they pulled right in, and then I've come to find out this. Oh, you'll like this. I don't know how I've never told you this before. The suspect remained at large, like they got away, and
Right.
they got away for um I want to say like 4 or 5 months, and
Uh-huh.
they were found in Texas. I think it was Austin, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And it was
Sounds
so
about
this
right.
person got away. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was pretty. Wait, yeah, yeah. Here we go. Arrested in Texas from
Yeah, so what it was
yeah,
Austin? Yeah,
I
that
don't
sounds
know if
about
it's
Austin,
Austin
man.
here, but I believe it was. I'm gonna try. I'm
Mm.
not giving up any money to this paywall here, so I'm gonna do
Freaking
this here and see if I
paywalls,
can get
man.
past. I hate it. Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah,
A
they,
woman suspected. Yeah, it was a woman. A woman suspected in an early July homicide outside of a Sacramento card room has been identified and arrested in Texas and will be extradited in a few weeks. And they caught up with her in Nacogdoches, Texas.
yeah,
I don't yeah, Nacogdoches, Texas. But yeah, she ended up she ended up killing somebody. I mean, it was pretty nuts, dude. Like right in front of me. And I'm just like when that happens right in front of you, I have people that have witnessed stuff like that. It's really shocking. Like you go into a state of fight. I've been in fight or flight many times, but you go into a level of it that's just
yep,
different, dude. Like it's just
yeah.
different. You really switch up. Whatever mattered to you a second before does not matter now. You're just get out of there. Like
So speaking of like the fight or flight, there was something I was gonna ask you about now, and this kinda goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. So the stuff you guys did at Veritas, the undercover work that you did, I could imagine there was probably a lot of undercover work you guys did that probably never even saw, the air or whatever. I mean, I'm probably so. I mean, I think with any media company, I mean, there's a ton of video that I take that never sees the air. But
oh, most of it,
if
man. Most of it.
yeah, so when you're, let's just go back, like, take you back to when you're at Veritas working, right? You get an assignment. Was there any time when you were working there and you were undercover doing video, was there any times that, like, you felt like that maybe you were in danger, because, like, maybe they found out, maybe they know who I am, or maybe they have an idea that, like, you know, maybe they know who I am and I could be in danger? Did you ever feel that way?
That's an interesting question, right? So we refer to that as getting burned. Okay.
Getting burned?
When you were in the field, if you got burned, that meant, they figured out you were a journalist, you were with PV, they identified you,
Yeah,
whatever it was, but like they figured you out. Somehow, some way, I never ever once got burned. Like
right.
I even had a guy that there I think told you about the story I did with the Twitter executive that was talking about Elon Musk and
Yep,
mocking him for having Asperger's and stuff. So
yep,
that dude, gay guy, right? And so we're on a quote unquote date. That's the access we had to a lot of this stuff. And I'm standing there and I'm like smoking a cigarette and I don't know how I never got burned, like in years, but I somehow was able to just bullshit my way out of it all the time. Like if it ever happened, this guy reaches over and like a woman would, right? Like puts his hand on my chest. Okay. Like puts now my undercover camera's right here in the button. Okay.
okay.
He puts it on. He has my camera in his hand, Jamie. He has my camera in his hand. And he goes, "What's that?" He goes,
What?
"What's that? What do you got?" Yeah. And he's like going like this. And I'm looking back at the footage and he's like going like this. And I froze up, but I was able to bullshit my way out of it. No joke. I convinced him I had a medical condition and that was a piece of the medical equipment that
Dude,
I had or whatever. Somehow he believed it. It was the biggest line of bullshit I've ever told in my life.
wait a minute. So he grabs your camera that's in your button and is like, and you convince him it's a piece of medical equipment, and he believes it.
I said
Oh, shit.
diabetes, and diabetes is like a pump down here, and he somehow believed on my sternum that I
That it was a piece
yeah, yeah, and the guy was just so into me that he was just like, "Whatever, like whatever."
okay, I believe it, why not?
Yeah, he's like,
God, I've always
"Just
wondered,
shows."
watch everybody watches those Project Veritas videos. They're crazy, man, and sometimes it amazes me, some of the people that you guys had gotten on camera. Sometimes it amazes me the shit that people will say when they don't think anybody's watching. Like, some of these people from, like, the drug companies when y'all were working on, like, the vaccine stuff, and, like, just I mean, just some of the stuff that people will say that it just when they don't it's like when nobody's watching and it's just, me and you talking or, if you're out on a date and you can tell you were right. Now that you mentioned and like that's how you got y'all got a lot of people was like by out on dates and stuff like that. Now that you mention it, a lot of y'all's videos, yeah, it was either, men on women. Y'all were out on dates for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
and this is public. This is out like we would literally use dating apps. People were so damn stupid that they would put like scientist at Pfizer, like you know what I mean. They would put their job title. So we would have literal
That's
war
so
rooms,
funny, man.
like war rooms. We would be in like Washington D.C. There'd be
Dude.
there would be like, me, somebody else, like some other dude that would be like, we would play the gay angle, right? We would go on like
Yeah.
men to because I mean, you get a good subject there, they'll tell you everything. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll tell you everything. But you would have like us and then like 15 hot chicks, and then they would just go on there, and their phone would be screaming at them. Their phone would
Yeah.
be just screaming at them because these guys can't help themselves. It would just be
Yeah.
like congressman's employee, legislative correspondent,
God dang.
a senior executive at Facebook, whatever. And these guys just brag. They just brag and
And
brag and brag and brag,
and
and
they
it's like
put this
a job
stuff in their
title.
profiles and their dating profiles. That
Yes.
blows my m well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really blow my mind because I mean, I guess if I was some kinda, hotshot exec and it was a dating app, I mean, I'd probably be kinda, hitting that angle too, but, no wonder just I'll tell you what, man, just some of the some of the stuff, the way you guys caught those people and it's so funny. The videos that I like the best is, after you guys would catch them after you would, get them to admit whatever on stream, and then James or whoever else would go in, to where they're in the restaurant or whatever and confront them, and those are always the best, man. Just the look on their face when they know, like, the look on their face when they know, like, it's up, they are fucked,
Oh,
and
dude. I mean, these people would scatter like vermin. Like they
oh,
really
yeah,
would.
man.
Like
Yeah. It's like
people do
roaches, like
not
turning
like
the
that.
lights on the roaches,
Well, the most
and
interesting part about what you just said is like it goes back to right what you said about what people say on hidden camera, right? If they
yeah,
don't think they're being recorded, they'll say anything. The
for
second you
sure.
confront, and I did this too, like if you confront them with a microphone and you go up to them and everything, they clam up. When people know they're being recorded, they clam up. So that just gives you a real interesting look at, like whenever people know they're on the record, in media and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
they are not going to tell you the information you want to know. They're gonna selectively edit and you know trim down everything they want
yeah,
you to know and package it nicely and neatly into that. I'm actually I don't know. Are you able to pull something up if I send it to you? That because
yeah,
this I think your people would find really funny. It's the best moment I ever had in
yeah,
undercover
let
history.
me see how I'm gonna send it. How are you gonna send it to me? I can
I could
yeah,
just I could just send
if
it
you
to you
can,
as a link.
yeah, send it yeah, do you wanna send it to my Twitter?
Yeah, I'll send it to your Twitter. So
And then I'll just share screen is what I'll
just for
do.
context, what this is you might have seen this, but this is the same guy that Alex Martinez, the lead client partner for Twitter, right? It's this Twitter executive that I caught undercover. Met him in Austin actually at South by Southwest. Worked him for 2 months until we were able to meet in person. And this is how incredible the way people are open whenever they don't know they're being recorded. This guy now we had just hit with a separate video, right? We had just got Twitter and published it, and mine was coming soon. But right after that happened, I'm on this date with this guy, and he pulls out his phone and is like, "Hey, check this bullshit out. Look at what they're warning us about at work." And he gives me his phone to read a company warning sent to him and other Twitter employees about me. It says, "Watch out for Project Veritas," this and that. You just gotta see it. I'll tell you what the timestamp is, but it's ridiculous. Like, I've never seen a self-own to this level. I mean,
Okay.
this guy, you get a 541 of that.
Hang on, let me pull
541 on that video.
okay, let me pull up here, so I am going to hang on one sec.
I peaked here, by the way. I peaked. It doesn't get any better than this, Jamie. I peaked.
Sorry,
This
that
is
was
good.
my, gotta put that through headphone. Okay, alright, let's see here. Let me share, present, share screen. So you are gonna see, what you guys are gonna see is Twitter lead client partner says, that's what I want to share. And we're going to share the audio with that. All right. So it should pop up. And let's see here.
Looks like
And
it is.
then I'm going to,
Yeah.
there you go. Perfect. Look at that.
So
All right. Let me
541
make
is
this
the moment
for
in
you.
question. Just to show how, I mean, just inept some of these people are. Like, it has to be obvious at some point. But again, I told you I never got burnt somehow. This is the guy that had his hand on my chest and
Okay.
grabbed my camera.
How does that look on this? Okay. Yeah, that looks good. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure everybody can see
Oh, you're good,
everything.
dude.
And you said it was 541?
I mean, there's no other moment. I peaked here, Jamie. Like, this doesn't get better than this.
What was the timestamp again?
540, right there on the blue transition slide. Yeah, there you go. Right, 540. So
Okay, we'll go a little before that,
yeah, there you go.
and let me just make sure that it's gonna play the audio. Play the audio. Perfect. All right, here we go. You ready to play it?
Right. Yep.
Let's do it.
You're special. People are now like the New York Times, and like here, I just had dinner with the Twitter.
It's a little choppy, Jamie. I don't know why.
Of tweets.
Groups like Project Veritas are active right now.
It's like some group that's trying to just out the employees. Like they're trying
Dude,
to go on dates with them like this and record them.
dude, are you kidding me?
Can't make this up, dude. I can't.
Hold
I
on a
can't.
sec.
He's rating me. He gave me a warning about me to read.
Dude, are you dude, this guy. Wait a minute. So this guy, you're out. Okay, so you are the Project Veritas that he is actually reading you a warning from his company. He's reading you a warning from his company about you. And you're
Hands me the
sitting there
phone. Yeah.
recording.
Yeah. Hands me the phone. He
What
said,
the
"Yeah, they're trying to go
fuck,
on dates with
man?
us
Are you
like this."
kidding?
Dude, I remember
Dude.
my thought in my head whenever that happened. I was like, it was too good to be true. I was like, this is not happening right now. Like, there's no way this guy is. I actually thought maybe he was playing me, because I was like, there's no
Right.
way this guy, this guy doesn't catch on. But he had no idea, man. From that to grabbing onto my camera while I was recording him and being
Oh,
like, "What's this?" and
man.
saying it's medical equipment. From
Okay,
all
so
that
that was
stuff,
the same guy. That was the same
same
guy
guy,
that grabbed
same
your
guy.
camera.
And
So
just
so this
naive as could be.
okay, hang on a sec here. This guy grabs your camera. That's a button, but
Mhm.
obviously, I mean, he thought it. I mean, it didn't. you convince him it's a piece of medical a piece of medical equipment. He believes it. And he's showing you the messages from his company that they're being targeted by Veritas.
I
That
can't write
is,
this stuff. I'm not that
dude,
creative. Yeah.
I can imagine when you made it back into the office with that footage. I can imagine the amount of laughs that was had at Veritas that day.
It
I
was insane, man. It was insane. This is the one that I was telling you that this video is actually Elon Musk pinned his response to this video when he was in the process of buying Twitter to his Twitter. So like we got Elon to comment on this twice out of the, and he pinned his
it's
response to his Twitter. Like it was the virality of this video was like nothing I had ever seen before. It got across all platforms, probably like 15 million views, something like
yeah.
that.
That's so great, man. That is so great. I did see, this is the kind of story that I was looking for. That is the best. I can't believe that. I don't know how I didn't that that I mean, the guy, can you imagine when he made it back into his company and he found out that that your button was a camera?
Yeah, dude, like what's the HR meeting there? What do they I mean, how does that go? To be able to fly on the wall in that HR
What I
meeting.
mean,
I mean, they had to
what do you
let the guy
just
go, right?
what do you just do? Like, I mean, the only thing he could do is like all he could do is plead complete stupidity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just that's great. I mean, I'm sure that there's been some. I would love to see and hear stories from Veritas, man. Just some of the stuff that y'all have seen and ran across, and I just it just the work that Veritas did. I mean, I'm sure you're very proud. The fact that the work you did there is was so important, not just important to your company, but the work that you did. Your work there was important to this country, man, to like the survival of this country. And I mean, I can't think of anything more honorable. And then that brings us to, Eyes on Pittsburgh, and then Dash. The work that we're doing, the work that you're doing, the work that I'm doing here, it's just as important. These politicians, these cities, you know, when I very first started doing this, I was kind of torn between, there's human beings, when I started seeing, the conditions that these people were living in, right? Um, and I bought the whole line that the city was giving, that, these men and women, they're there simply because there's not enough housing, or, they're there because we need more affordable housing. We need more assistance. And, when you go out and actually start talking to these people and you're talking to them, you're in the camps with them, you're seeing the way they're living, when once you start talking to them, you realize that, yep, they're exactly where they want to be. They're out there doing
A
their job.
lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, they're out there, and that's what happens here in Austin is, they go out and they try to, close these camps down, and, they take the people that are living in those camps and they put them in here in Austin. They call them bridge shelters. What they are is hotels. The city went and spent a shitload of money on a bunch of hotels and turned them into like homeless shelters. But they stay 24, 48 hours. They don't stay long. And then they're back on the street because that's where the, alcohol and drugs. And funny enough, it's here in Austin. Fentanyl has not fentanyl is here. It's on the street, but it's not as bad as it is in other places. Do y'all have a big problem
Really?
right now in
Oh
Pittsburgh?
man. Man, that's I mean, that's all there is. Like
Yeah.
I've talked to guys that are, fentanyl addicts. Like it's actually referred to as, guys will be like, with it, and I told you, I'm in the rooms. I'm a recovering addict and everything. Not fentanyl or heroin, but like I am a recovering addict, and like, but those guys are in there, and
Yeah.
so it's to the point now where you used to hear like, I'm a recovering heroin addict and stuff. People will say now like I'm a recovering fentanyl addict. Like I'm a this is the craziest thing. They say that there's not even a lot of heroin out there anymore. Like, it's
Right.
all fentanyl. It's
All
all
fentanyl.
fentanyl and like vitamin powder and shit like that they
Yep.
mix together. And that's what guys want. That's what these people want nowadays. Because apparently what they say is that the heroin is not good anymore. It's not like, if it doesn't have fentanyl in it, they don't want anything to do with it because it's just so
Right.
much more powerful. So I mean, that truly is like all you see anymore. Like, that's all you see is just fentanyl and fentanyl and fentanyl. And then if there's a batch that comes through and kills somebody or whatever, every fiend is going
Yeah.
after that batch because that's the good stuff.
Well, and I mean, we see fentanyl here. It's on the street. I think it's everywhere. I think it's on every American street. But just, thank God that we're not seeing it as bad as some places. Like, you see the videos coming out of like San Francisco, and it's like zombie streets, where people are just bent
Right.
over at the waist. But our big drug that we deal with here in Austin is meth. Meth is the big drug. And, it's hotter than hell in Austin most of the year. I mean, we're talking about anywhere between, 105 and 110, 115. It's like just horribly hot. And this past year, it was even, worse. So it was even worse. It was just very hot. And, you take these people that are living out in the woods where it's 110 degrees, they're dehydrated, and then they're pumping themselves full of meth, and man, these
Ugh.
people are just going nuts. I mean, they're just crazy. And there for a while, for about 3 weeks there back during the summer, we were finding a homeless guy dead every day. Every day we were finding at least one homeless guy dead. And you're going to deal with that. Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that offline, but to kind of prepare yourself, because doing this job, we're in the homeless camps, and you're going to find dead people. It's going to happen. And you're going to run across the dead homeless people, and then you're gonna have to call the cops and but yeah, it's gonna happen. And sadly, it's one of those things that I don't want to get used to, but you kind of start to get desensitized to it over time. And
Sure.
but yeah, man, I tell you what, well, we're gonna go ahead and end this. I mean, we've been going for a little over an hour, but man, I tell you what, I appreciate it. I've been wanting to get you on and let us just kind of sit down and just kind of talk, especially we got to do it again. There's got to be some Veritas stories that just will make you howl. And just some of the stuff that you guys did, man, it's wonderful. And I'll tell you what, I know my viewers and the people that follow me down here, they are very thankful that you're around. For those that don't know, Bobby and I are we're working with some folks to try to start taking the model that we're using and hopefully taking it to other parts of the country, some of the bigger cities. I think every big city in this country could benefit from what we're doing. I just think it's funny that you and I right now are really the only ones in this country doing this. And for a while it was just me, and everybody asked me that all the time. They're like, "So who's the other people doing this?" And I'm like, "Well, there really isn't anybody." And I mean, look around, look, you and I are it. You and I are it. We are the only people doing this work. And I mean, it blows my mind. So I think there is a need for this. I think there's a need for it. I think we can hold these politicians accountable. We can get this video. I think we can help more of the homeless folks, get off the street, that want off the street. It's a noble thing you're doing up there, man. It's,
You too, buddy.
it's doing God's work. Seriously, people look at us like we're targeting homeless people. And I used to hear it all the time. And, you're targeting homeless people. It's all you're doing, especially from the other side. The other side. Our other side down here is a group called Stop the Sweeps, I think is what they call themselves. But, when we go out and document a homeless camp, usually within about a week or two, the city is in there moving those people into shelter. And when they get into shelter, they're put directly into the pipeline for permanent housing, which is like a voucher to get an apartment. It's like the best thing for somebody if they really, really want it off the street. It's the best thing for them. So I don't know, man, but I appreciate it. And, you know, I don't know what do you got planned this week? What you got coming out? Anything?
Yeah, so tomorrow, the video of the encampment area with the dogs,
Yep.
or the dog.
Can't wait to see that.
I'll put that out tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And then I got an interview that I'm doing with a business owner this week. And then I got a
Good
couple
deal.
other places I've been tipped off to, a couple other encampments, and actually some that you probably noticed this too. Just quickly, driving around, and you ever just be driving around the city and then you see an area and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was there. Like
Yep.
it's like I have like an eye for tents now and stuff,
Yep.
like
You see
it
it.
catches my eye. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
once you know, I was the same way. You know, I never noticed these things, but once you are doing this work, like once you know what you're looking at, you see it everywhere. But what I wanted to tell you, there's a guy that helps me down here. He works for one of the satellite companies that they have the imaging satellites. And what he does is, as these satellites make passes over this area, they take some. I mean, you got to see some of the images these satellite takes. It's actually kind of scary how close of a picture. I mean, they can read the paper as you're walking. You know, I mean, that's how close these satellites are. So this guy helps me out, and he could see real time where these camps are. You know, Google Maps helped me out a lot, but this guy is amazing at what he does because he's able to see these things in real time, and then he, you know, gives me access to see them. And I'm gonna hook you guys up because you would get I found pretty much all the maps that I've documented basically through that work, you know, through the satellite passes, because they're like, you know, you can get I'll get one in the morning, and then I'll, you know, get one in the afternoon, and you know, they're very accurate and the resolution is absolutely amazing. I mean, there's some pictures, if the satellite is zoomed in close enough, there are some pictures where, you know, you can read things that's on the ground. You know,
Oh
it's
damn.
freaky. It's
From a
freaky.
satellite.
Yeah, it's freaky. I cannot believe that the technology is there for that. But you know, if somebody would have just told me that, I would have been like, you know, yeah, I bet you could get close, but I don't think you could read it. But just wait,
Right.
you're gonna you can. There's some stuff you can read, but I'm gonna hook you up with this guy. I'm gonna send an email and include you in on it, and introduce y'all because he thinks this work is incredibly important, not just here, but you know, he's been asking me the same thing about when we're going around the country. So I'm going to hook you guys up, and that
Appreciate you.
the satellite views you're going to be able to get is invaluable. So
That'll help me
you know,
find some more camps, dude. I appreciate it. I mean,
oh yeah,
I'm trying to find them all. It's it's kind of like collecting Pokemon in a
yeah.
real weird, fucked up way.
Yeah, it's gonna help you. And you know, when I very first started doing this for a while, I wasted so much time just driving around. You know, I would look on Google Maps and try to find a spot that looked like something was there, and then you know, drive out there and waste my time, and it would actually be nothing, or you know, it's just literally a pile of trash. But then when I got access to that satellite, that helped a lot more. But once you start, you know, like down, I don't know how it is in Pittsburgh, but like here in Austin, once you kind of start noticing where these camps are, like this is what I look for in Austin. If I don't have a satellite picture, I look for a wooded area. If there is public transport nearby and a gas station or a convenience store nearby, if those three things are right in that area, there's probably going to be a homeless camp there. You know, they
Yeah.
have to have, you know, and that's true. It is held true with every homeless camp in this city: public transport, a gas station, and you know, a wooded area cover. They like to be covered, and that's one of the things that the city has started doing down here when they close these larger camps. They used to just close them down and move along, and then within 2 weeks it would be re-inhabited. But what they're doing now is they're closing these things down, and they're going in and removing all like the underbrush and all that undergrowth. So there is no, you know, you can't hide in there. And it absolutely 100% keeps the camps from coming back. So, man, I appreciate it, Bobby. I will talk to you tomorrow. And like I said, I'll hook you up with the guy from the satellite company. He does not want anybody knowing his name, or I would shout out his company. But I don't think his company would like that too much. So, but I'll hook you up with him. Anyway, man, I appreciate it. Yep, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bobby's got some great stories. Maybe we can talk him into coming on again and sharing some more stories with us from his past. The dude could probably write a book with some of the stuff he did with Veritas. I myself find it very interesting. And I think the main reason I find it so interesting is because I'm kind of like a fanboy of Veritas. You know, it's like I used to watch what you guys did, and just amazing work, man. I mean, just one of you guys' biggest fans for sure. So y'all definitely made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. So congratulations on that. And
hey, thanks, buddy.
We will talk to you soon. All right, man.
All right, man. Let's do this again.
All right. Later on, buddy.
Later.